Somewhere in the South Atlantic, on a speck of volcanic rock thousands of kilometers from anywhere, around 240 people live in a single tiny village. There is no airport, no runway, no quick way in or out. The nearest other people are more than 2,000 kilometers away across open ocean, so far that the only neighbors are sometimes the crew of a passing ship or a satellite overhead. You can't fly here, and you can't just move here, even if you want to. Yet families have lived on this island for over 200 years, by choice, sharing one patch of land at the very edge of the world. This is Tristan da Cunha, the most remote inhabited place on the planet. And the story of why anyone lives here at all is stranger than the loneliness itself. So where exactly is Tristan da Cunha? Look at the South Atlantic, that vast, empty blue between South America and Africa. And you'll find almost nothing at all, no major shipping lanes, no island chains, just water for thousands of kilometers in every direction. And then a single dot. Tristan sits roughly halfway between two continents, but really it sits halfway through nowhere. The nearest inhabited land is the island of St. Helena, more than 2,400 kilometers to the north. The closest continent, Africa, is almost 2,800 kilometers away. To put that in perspective, getting to this island is harder than reaching almost any city on Earth. And here's the strange part. It's a full part of the United Kingdom, some of the hardest British soil there is to ever set foot on. Everyone on the island lives in one place. And it has one of the grandest names you'll ever hear for one of the smallest towns. It's called Edinburgh of the Seven Seas. The locals just call it the settlement. This single village is home to the entire population of Tristan da Cunha. Every family, every house, every business, all in one cluster of rooftops beneath a volcano. It was named in 1867 after a visit by Prince Alfred, the Duke of Edinburgh. And Edinburgh of the Seven Seas holds a quiet world record. It's the most remote permanent settlement anywhere on Earth. There's no second town to drive to, no suburbs, no neighboring village over the hill. When you live in Edinburgh of the Seven Seas, this one small place is your entire world. The island has carried its name for over 5 centuries. It was first spotted in 1506 by a Portuguese explorer named Tristan da Cunha, who gave the island his own name, but the sea was so rough he never even managed to land on it. For 300 years it stayed empty, a landmark for sailors and nothing more. Then, in 1816, Britain did something surprising. It sent a military garrison to occupy this tiny rock. The reason? Napoleon, the defeated emperor, was imprisoned on St. Helena, and Britain feared someone might use Tristan as a secret base to rescue him. The rescue never came, but when the soldiers left, one Scotsman asked to stay behind with his family. From that single choice, a permanent community slowly grew. Life on Tristan runs on rules you won't find anywhere else. The land is owned in common. No outsider can buy property here, and all the families farm shares of the same potato patches, so no one grows rich while a neighbor goes without. Almost everyone shares one of just a handful of surnames, passed down from those first few settlers. There's one shop, one cafe, one pub called the Albatross Bar, one school and one small hospital. No hotels, no chain stores, no traffic lights. And if you want to move here, you can't simply show up. You need the permission of the island council, and outsiders are almost never allowed to settle for good. This isn't a place that sells itself to newcomers. It belongs completely to the people already here. But this island has never been entirely safe, because Tristan da Cunha isn't just remote. It's a volcano. The whole island is the top of an enormous volcanic mountain rising straight out of the deep sea floor, crowned by a summit called Queen Mary's Peak, more than 2,000 meters high and usually hidden in cloud. For most of the island's history, the volcano sat quiet and the settlers built their lives in its shadow without much fear. The slopes gave them rich soil, the sea gave them fish. The mountain felt like a backdrop, not a threat. And then, one night in 1961, the ground right beside Edinburgh of the Seven Seas began to crack open, and the backdrop came to life. In October 1961, a volcanic vent tore open right next to the settlement. Lava began pushing toward the houses, and there was nowhere on the island to run. So the entire population, every man, woman and child, was evacuated. first to a nearby island, then by ship all the way to England. Overnight, a community that had lived in deep isolation for generations was dropped into modern 1960s Britain. Its cars, its crowds, its television and noise. They were treated as a curiosity, studied by scientists, filmed by reporters. They had every comfort the modern world could offer, and most of them hated it. Within 2 years, once the eruption settled, the islanders voted overwhelmingly to do the unthinkable, to leave Britain behind and sail back to their volcano. That choice tells you how isolated Tristan still is today. There's no airport, and the terrain makes building one nearly impossible. The only way to reach the island is by boat, usually a fishing or research vessel out of Cape Town, South Africa, on a voyage that takes 6 to 7 days across some of the roughest seas on Earth. And ships come only a handful of times a year. That means a simple emergency here is anything but simple. A serious illness or injury can mean waiting days, sometimes weeks, for a vessel to arrive and carry the patient back toward a hospital thousands of kilometers away. There's no quick rescue, no flight out. When something goes wrong on Tristan, the ocean decides how long you wait. So how does a village this remote survive in the modern world? Mostly on one thing: crayfish. The cold waters around the island are full of Tristan rock lobster, and exporting it is the island's main income, carefully managed so the catch never runs out. The famous Tristan stamps and coins, prized by collectors around the world, bring in money too. Beyond that, the islanders do what they've always done: fish, farm their patches, raise their livestock, and fix almost everything themselves, because the nearest spare part is an ocean away. In recent years, a satellite link has finally brought reliable internet, connecting the loneliest village on Earth to the rest of us. But daily life still moves to the rhythm of the weather, the sea, and the supply ship's schedule, which leaves the strangest question of all: why stay? People here could leave. Some do, for school or work out in the wider world. But the community endures, generation after generation, choosing this windswept rock over everywhere else on Earth. Ask them why, and the answer is usually simple: it's home. It's safe, in the way only a place where everyone knows everyone can be. No crime to speak of, no traffic, no rush, just family, ocean, and a volcano they've learned to live beside. Edinburgh of the Seven Seas will probably never grow large, and it will never be easy to reach. But as long as the crayfish run and the supply ships come, a few hundred people will keep the lights on at the far edge of the map, in the most remote inhabited place on Earth.